The United States has approved the deployment of 1,500 troops to the Middle East. President Donald Trump says it would be a protective measure. He's played down the potential of conflict in the region, saying that he believed Iran did not want a confrontation with the United States. The American military deployed a carrier strike group to the region earlier this month. With us now from LA is Dr. Dalia Dasakay, Director of the Center for Middle East Public Policy at the RAND Corporation. Thank you so much for your time. First of all, this troop deployment, it was supposed to be 5,000. It's now 1,500 with a few hundred carrying on because they're already there. Is that, in a sense, an attempt to de-escalate the situation?
Well, it may be an attempt to have a very calibrated, measured approach, but I think the problem is in the context of 3 weeks of ratcheting up tensions, the message may not be received that way in Tehran, and it could very well be that even if the U.S. is not interested in war, and it doesn't seem like the Iranians are either, the Iranians could interpret this as an offensive measure and threatening, and because of this broader context. So we have a real dilemma here that both sides are ratcheting up tensions. They say it's for defensive reasons, but it could be miscalculated, especially because there's no direct communication between the U.S. and Iran right now.
There does certainly, at least in the White House, seem to be a bit of a conflict there. Donald Trump saying he doesn't think Iran wants a war, but we're hearing reports that National Security Advisor John Bolton is talking about intelligence on Iran as deep and a threat that's deep and serious. So is it perhaps that the White House isn't on the same page here?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think, there are lots of reports about internal friction within the administration, but I think what's pretty clear is that the approach we're seeing from the administration is unified in the sense that the administration and the president was clearly opposed to the engagement with Iran, opposed to the nuclear deal, and the current crisis we're seeing really was triggered by the unilateral U.S. withdrawal from the deal. So I think there's wide consensus that there's a need to push back on the Iranians in the non-nuclear arena. And the stated goal is to get the Iranians back to the negotiating table, and that is yet to be seen. As the U.S. is increasing these tensions, the Iranians are really backed into a corner, particularly because of the squeeze, the economic squeeze on the oil exports. So I think look at it in that broader picture.
So if Iran is backed into a corner and there's noises coming from the White House, the potential for an accidental conflict is there, who do you think is more likely to make a mistake in this encounter?
Well, it can happen from either side. I mean, this isn't hypothetical. We're not just seeing heated rhetoric and tweets. We're seeing actual movement on the ground. As you mentioned, the aircraft carrier moving to the region, bombers, Patriot missiles. This deployment of U.S. troops, certainly small, but still could be read as a threatening signal. The designation of the IRGC as a terrorist organization, et cetera. On the Iranian side, there are attacks attributed to the Iranians on oil tankers, oil pipelines, missile attacks in diplomatic zones in Baghdad. So it really, there are numerous flashpoints, whether it's Syria, Iraq, Yemen, or the naval arena, real potential for a miscalculated, what one side may think is a limited strike to send a message, gain leverage, that could lead to an unintended escalation. And ultimately, the Iranians are going to face the problem that they need economic relief, and they are already threatening to resume some of their nuclear activities that exceed the limits of the nuclear deal if they don't get that relief. So I think we have weeks and possibly months ahead of crisis in this situation, even if the current ratcheting up of war talk and war measures calms down.
Certainly all eyes on the Middle East. Dr. Dalia Dasakay from the RAND Corporation, thank you very much.